Hello everyone. We are from Tutorial 1 Group 4. Today, we will be presenting about Chapter 4, the Management Environment. This is the list of our group members. Rosaline Yong Sining, Muhammad Afsaruddin Rushaidi bin Muhammad Afendi, Nur Safia binti Abdul Latif, and Nathaniel Jivan Raj anak lelaki Anthony Wilson. In our team, we also have Hasha Arisa binti Halimi, Nur Irdina Farzana binti Shahirul Nizam, Ifa Nabila binti Abdul Kamil, and lastly, Masturina Izzati binti Kamaruzaman. Case Study 1. Bad Ride, Bumpy Ride. The topic is Organizational Culture, Organization Values, Leaders' Influence on Culture.
Hello, my name is Nur Safia binti Abdul Latif. Without further ado, let's delve into the first question, which is, what role does the CEO play in an organization culture? The first one, CEO is the decision maker. Is their choices important? Well, they can greatly influence the organization's culture. Every decision they make ensures the organization aligns with its core values and vision. For example, Travis Kalanick made decisions that prioritize growth and market dominance. It fosters Uber's competitive culture. In contrast, Dara Khoroshahi's decision promoted ethical behavior to reshape the culture. So, whether it's about prioritizing employee well-being, ethical practices, or financial growth, every decision reflects company's value and culture. Next is crisis handler. In times of crisis, employees and stakeholders turn to the CEO for leadership and reassurance. The CEO's ability to navigate difficult situations shapes not only the company's culture, but also its long-term survival. After Uber faced scandals, Khoroshahi handled the crisis by addressing systematic issues like harassment and rebuilding trust, which turned the culture toward collaboration and accountability. And the third one is strategic leader. CEOs shape the organization's future and ensure it's relevant in the marketplace. Their role goes beyond daily operation. They inspire innovation, align the workforce with the company vision, and drive the organization toward sustainable growth. For instance, Kalanick's aggressive strategy for rapid market expansion created a win-at-all-cost culture, while Khoroshahi's focus more on ethics and financial stability, which realign Uber's strategic priorities with a more balanced cultural approach. On to the next slide. What role do other leaders or managers need to play? Leaders set the standard for acceptable behavior within their team. For example, if a manager demonstrates integrity by owning up to their mistake, employees are more likely to feel comfortable doing the same. Second is as cultural translator. What exactly is cultural translator? The purpose of this role is for managers to help employees understand and align with the company's vision and mission. They can do this by breaking down the CEO's vision into clear goals for teams, and also providing context by explaining how individual roles contribute to the organization's success. And last but not least, leaders or managers should be an employee advocate. Managers play a crucial role in creating a culture trust by being the voice of their employees. They should advocate for fair treatment, such as ensuring promotions, workloads, and opportunities are distributed evenly, and also improve workplace environment by identifying gaps such as lack of training or resources and to address them. For the next question, describe the Uber's culture under its founder. Uber's culture under its founder, Travis Kalanick, was shaped by an intense focus on growth, disruption, and competition. While this approach drove Uber to global success, it also fostered a toxic and ethical questionable work environment, which lead to the first point, which is competitive environment. Kalanick fostered a hyper-competitive, always be hustling mindset. How does this mindset work actually? Well, the employees were pushed to outperform competitors at any cost, creating an environment of relentless pressure. This mindset and culture focus on results over relationships. It often leads to burnout and unhealthy competition. Toxic atmosphere. There are abundance of reports of sexism, harassment, and discrimination by Uber's employees under the Kalanick's leadership. For example, complaints of harassment by one of the Uber's employees were ignored by the management. Such behaviors were normalized due to leadership's inaction, which created a toxic work environment. And the third one is lack of ethical accountability. Kalanick's leadership embraced practices that prioritize growth over ethics. For instance, it includes acquiring competitors' trade secrets through illegal ways and also using greyball software. The purpose was to evade regulators and avoid fines. These actions damaged Uber's reputation and led to legal consequences, which resulting in Kalanick's stepping down as CEO.
Next, let's look at question 413. Which view of management do you see played out there? The omnipotent or the symbolic? Explain. To answer the question, the management view that we observe here is a symbolic view rather than an omnipotent one. And the symbolic view are as follows. Firstly, being the leadership change, where the eventual eviction of Kalanick by investors reflects a recognition that leadership style and corporate culture are deeply intertwined. The new CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, is seen as a stark contrast to Kalanick, focusing on humility and collaboration instead of aggression. Secondly, is cultural values versus reality. The company's espoused values, such as always be hustling and toe stepping, were not reflected in actual practices, highlighting a disconnect between the stated values and the toxic environment. And finally, being the public perception, where the backlash against Kalanick's management style and the subsequent media coverage of Uber's culture indicate that external perceptions can significantly influence organizational dynamics. This aligns with the symbolic view where the image and reputation of the leadership matter greatly. Now, let's discuss on question 414. What advice about organizational culture would you give the new CEO? The advice that I would like to give the new CEO is that firstly, it is crucial to prioritize inclusivity. Creating an environment where diversity is valued will help ensure that all employees feel safe and respected at work. Secondly, ongoing training and development is essential. Providing regular training on workplace ethics, harassment prevention, and leadership skills will cultivate a respectful environment for all employees. And last but not least, leading by example is key. Khosrowshahi must demonstrate the desired cultural values through his actions, ensuring that executives embody the principle they wish to instill within Uber. Now I would pass my this time to the next presenter. Thank you.
The 10-point summary. We start off with toxic culture. In a 2017 blog post, former engineer Susan Fowler exposed the company's aggressive culture and lack of emphasis on cooperation, revealing a toxic work atmosphere that was hostile to women and where inappropriate acts were accepted. The founding vision. One day, Travis Kalanick and a friend who had trouble hailing a cab in Paris founded Uber, the world's leading ride-hailing company, in 2008. The objective was to develop a user-friendly application for requesting rides. Corporate success. Uber became the most highly valued startup in history, and it quickly expanded to become a global service with 14,000 workers in over 600 cities and a $70 billion valuation. Therefore, Uber was founded by Travis Kalanick, a well-known businessman with an aggressive approach who centered the company's goals on hypergrowth and winning at any cost. The company's name, always be hustling and toe-stepping, as well as ideals like conflict and being principled, were all represented in the corporate culture. Uber's beliefs included pushing up competitions and giving chest bumps to staff to celebrate accomplishments, which probably turned off some workers. Due to these actions, Kalanick and other managers were embroiled in a number of contentious incidents, such as the use of Greyball, a covert technology to deny service to specific riders, the leaking of a passenger's private medical information following an alleged rape in India, and the now viral video of Kalanick arguing with an Uber driver. Soon after, Uber was sued for violating local laws, hiding a data breach, spying on rival companies to trade secrets, utilizing a remote system to protect files from police raids, and knowingly leasing dangerous automobiles to drivers in Singapore. Following months of backlash and pressure from investors, CEO Travis Kalanick was compelled to step down as a CEO. Expedia CEO Dara Khosrowshahi was chosen as a new leader in order to refocus the business and deal with cultural concerns. Now, Khosrowshahi had to overcome obstacles in order to improve Uber's financial status, reassemble the company's top team, and handle accusations of sexism and harassment. Compared to Travis Kalanick, Khosrowshahi was deemed to be a 180-degree turn in humility, a good listener, and a diplomat. It was hoped that Uber's journey would be more seamless as a result of the leadership's transition. Thank you.
Moving on to case study 2, I'm Hasha Arisa binti Halimi and I'll be summarizing case study 2, Not Sold Out, with the topic The Power of Presence in 10 Points. Let me introduce to you Tableau Software, an American interactive data visualization software company specializing in business intelligence. The company was founded in 2004 by Chabot, who is also the CEO of Tableau. Firstly, the CEO of Seattle-based Tableau shares how he managed a growing international company. According to Chabot, physically present at the international offices is the key in managing international company. Secondly, Tableau Software is a leading provider of analytics and business intelligence software solutions that Tableau now has over 35,000 clients from many countries. Next, Tableau is basically a company that provides software tools and interactive dashboards to its users in generating business insights through analysis as well as visualization of data. Tableau is also on the cutting edge to allow users to create graphics from spreadsheets. Other than that, competing with software giants like Microsoft is in the market is indeed an obstacle to Tableau. As an international company, this doesn't trigger Tableau much. Instead, Tableau's value continues to grow with a 64% increase in revenue. This is also due to the company's international expansion that has successfully increased the company's revenue by 86% from the international markets. Moving on to the next slide, here are the next 4 points in summarization of the case study 2. While more than half of 2,800 employees work in the headquarters, Tableau has 14 locations around the world, including our country's neighbor, Singapore. Tableau also stated that the company will be hiring about 400 more employees following the company's expansion by opening new international offices. On to the next point, Tableau faces many challenges in international growth of the company, including cultural differences, time differences, and the geographic distance between headquarters office and international offices. Seventh point explains how Chabot managed the growth of Tableau when he spent almost a year abroad working in the company's London office, where regional sales increases but also provides valuable insights in international expansion. When Chabot was abroad, he understands the difficulties faced by the international teams, where he found that many international workers did not feel like they were taken seriously by those at the home office, as well as feeling disconnected to the point where they had to report to the management. Let's move on to the remaining summary of case study 2.
In the last paragraph, Chabot sent the message that he felt that employees outside the headquarters were important as he values his time working in London for all of the company's employees. Last but not least, Chabot's action in working in London is impactful to the company's success that Tableau is now encouraging other executives to spend time at international offices.
So the next question asking about what part of this situation disturbs you the most and what career advice as far as ethical behavior could you take away from this story? Uber has created a toxic work culture where under Travis Kalanick leadership, Uber promotes a highly aggressive and competitive work environment where values like collaboration and respect were overlooked. The company's culture encouraged win at all costs attitude and behaviors such as harassment, gender discrimination, and exclusion were allowed to persist. Despite complaints from employees, particularly women, when management failed to take action, leading to a toxic workplace where unethical behavior was tolerated. The second one is a failure to address legal complaints where Uber's management repeatedly ignored local law and regulation in pursuit of rapid growth. The company used tools like Greyball to evade regulators and operate in areas where it was not legally permitted. It also disregarded labor laws and put both driver and customer at risk, such as by leasing unsafe car. In addition, incidents like mishandling of data, breach and safety violation demonstrated a lack of commitment to a legal and ethical responsibility, resulting in legal trouble and significant damage to Uber's reputation. So the next one is the career advice that could take away from this story is prioritize ethical leadership and integrity. Leaders shape the culture of an organization through their action and decision, making essential for them to act with fairness, transparency, and integrity. Ethical leadership fosters trust among employees, stakeholders, and customers by setting a positive example and creating an environment where ethical principles are valued. By preventing a toxic workplace behavior and promoting a culture of openness and accountability, ethical leadership ensures long-term sustainability and protect the organization's reputation. The second one is to promote legal and safety compliance. Adhering to laws, regulation and safety standards is critical to protecting the organization from legal penalty, fine and reputational damage. Legal complaints demonstrate accountability to stakeholders and build trust while ensuring the safety to employees and customers safeguard the organization's long-term success. By prioritizing compliance and proactive risk management, companies can maintain a positive image, secure sustainable growth, and operate responsibly within the market. Hello, my name is Erdina Farzana. Moving on to the next question is, Tableau staff its international offices primarily with host country national. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the staffing strategy? I will be explaining the advantages. For the first one is language barrier is eliminated. So host country national naturally speak the local language, which allow them to communicate more effectively with local client, partner and other stakeholders. They understand the nuance, slang and formality of the language, making interaction smoother and reducing misunderstanding. This language fluency builds stronger relationship with the local customer and business partner, enhancing trust and credibility for the company in the host country. And the second one is a better understanding of local rules and law, where HCN are familiar with the legal and regulatory framework of their own country, which means they understand local business practices, labor law, and regulatory requirements. They are more aware of complaints issue and any specific regulation that affect business operation in their region. This knowledge reduces the risk of non-compliance and can help the company avoid legal issue, fine or penalty. It also speeds up decision making and implementation, as HCN don't need as much time to learn about the legal environment. For disadvantages, the first one is challenges in coordination and management. Managing teams across different countries with the culture and time differences can be challenging. For example, Tableau's management practices may need to be adapted to each country, which add complexity and require more coordination. Communication breakdown or management inconsistency may occur. which can impact productivity and efficiency. It may also limit the sharing of knowledge and the best practices between offices, as teams in different locations may operate somewhat independently. The second one is the lack of connection to the headquarters, where HCN, being geographically distant from the main office in Seattle, may feel disconnect from the company core culture and decision-making process. This can create a feeling of isolation, especially if they do not interact frequently with the headquarters staff. This disconnect can lead to misunderstanding, miscommunication, or a sense of not being fully valued, which can affect employee morale and job satisfaction. It may also limit collaboration and alignment with the company broader goals.
Next question. Hi, I'm Ifana Bila binti Abdul Kamil and we will discuss question 417. Do you agree with Chabot that the company will benefit it more executive spend time in international offices? Why or why not? I agree that more executives that spend time in international offices will give more benefit in Chabot company. Why? Because they can learn culture and people. Besides that, international offices can inform the headquarters regarding news from outside of local offices and various locations, enhance the profitability. First, learn new cultures and people. When Chabot send executives to the international offices, they will gain insight deeper into the culture, economics, and behavior pattern they are never known before. This way can help to fit the software to suitable local needs effectively. Second, inform the headquarters regarding news from outside of local offices. This way can evaluate marketing strategy to suit different local preferences. As we can see, every country have their own uniqueness. Besides that, we can get feedback and innovation from outside perspective that leading to innovative solution and better decision making. Next, every branch must follow compliance and legal requirements that Chabot company had make it. Finally, Chabot can get benefit various location and hence the profitability. In this situation, if Chabot open the more branch in international, they will access to target market, will enhance brand recognition and attract broader customer. Besides that, they will start up to innovate culture, which is prioritize creativity and create idea to show the value to the customer. In addition, benefits they will get is global connectivity, which is being in a well-connected location make it easier to work with the international client, remote team, and collaborators across time zone.
Hello everyone, my name is Afsaruddin Shaidi and now we are going to dive into this question on how can Tableau executive prepare for the cultural differences that they will encounter. So in today's world, cultural awareness is actually no longer optional and it is actually a must because research shows that cultural preparation can enhance trust, collaboration, and productivity, which are critical for any organization operating internationally. Like, for example, in Malaysia, hierarchy often plays a significant role in workplace interaction, like respecting titles and seniority is expected, which might contrast with a flatter hierarchy seen in any other country, like the USA, where employees often address their manager by their first names and feels comfortable challenging ideas. So in this presentation, I will share 3 strategies that can help executive prepare effectively. So let us go to the next slide. Okay, so before executive steps into a new cultural environment, preparation is actually the key to this. The strategies we will discuss are designed to help team connect with their teams and work effectively from day one. So, the first strategy is to do an in-depth research into the local culture in advance. This means understanding the social norms, communication styles, and even basic language of the host country. Like, for example, in Singapore, professionalism and punctuality are highly valued, and meetings are often efficient and structured. And the second strategy we will be discussing is to create a cultural cheat sheet. This is a simple but powerful tools that includes important do's and do nots, business ethic, and key holidays. So, for example, in Malaysia, knowing the days of major religious festivals like Hari Raya or Chinese New Year, it's important to avoid scheduling conflicts. And so, the final strategy is to build a cultural support network. This involves connecting with local mentors or colleagues who can offer guidance and insights. And for example, in Japan, having a trusted mentor is critical because of the emphasis on relationship building in their business culture. So this strategy aligns closely with what we have learned about the dimensions of organizational culture, such as attention to detail and people orientation, and set the stage for meaningful interactions. Okay, so now let us look at the first strategy, which is in-depth research into the local culture. The goal here is actually really simple. By learning about the culture ahead of time, executives can confidently and thoughtfully engage with their local teams. And here is how. First is research cultural norms and values. Like, for example, in Malaysia, hierarchy is deeply respected, which titles like Dato or Transri are often used in business formal settings. In contrast to the USA, values a more informal approach. Understanding these differences helps avoid unintentional disrespects. Secondly is to consume local media. Watching local TV shows, reading newspapers, or following popular social media trends offers insight into a societal value. Like, for example, Singapore's media often emphasizes national pride and efficiency, while Malaysian media reflects the multicultural diversity of its people. And third is to learn basic language. Even a few phrases can make a difference. Saying terima kasih in Malaysia or xie xie in Singapore shows respect and effort. Like, for example, a foreign executive in Malaysia who greets employees in Bahasa Melayu often earns an immediate goodwill. And fourth is to attend virtual cultural event. Attending online conference such as Malaysia's International Business Forum provides practical insights into how local professionals approach teamwork and leadership. Similarly, participating in webinars hosted by Singapore Chamber of Commerce offers an understanding of workplace efficiency. So by taking these actions, executives align with the dimension of attention to detail, showing their teams that they value the local culture and are committed into integrating. So the second strategy that Tableau executive can do is to create a cultural cheat sheet, which can be done at the same time during the first strategy we just discussed earlier, which is in-depth research on the local culture. So this is a quick reference tool that executives can rely on to navigate daily interactions. Like, imagine it as a guidebook on your daily life. Like, some of the things that can be included in that cheat sheet is that first thing first is do's and do nots. For example, in South Korea, pouring drinks for your college or superiors is a sign of respect. And if you're not doing this, it can be seen as rude. Meanwhile, in Australia, an informal and direct approach is much more preferred, and excessive formalities can come across as not genuine in business. By knowing these nuances, the executive can avoid unintentional mistakes that might harm their credibility. And second is to place a business ethic and hierarchy. Like in Singapore, meetings often follow a strict agenda and start on time, reflecting their efficiency-driven culture. But in Malaysia, here, meetings may start later and there's often stronger focus on relationship building before diving into business. And third is holidays and customs. Scheduling a meeting during Hari Raya in Malaysia or Thanksgiving in the USA could signal insensitivity. So by knowing these key holidays, executives show respect for their team's priorities. And for our fourth point is that phrases and gestures. Like, for example, in Japan, bowing is a must greeting. But in many other countries, a slight bow combined with placing your hand over your heart is already enough to show respect over a senior executive during the meetings. So, these cheat sheets align with the attention to detail and team orientation dimensions, ensuring executives are prepared for both formal and informal interactions. And now, finally, for our last strategies that Tableau executive can do is to build a cultural support network. So this strategy ensures that executives have a reliable resource for navigating the complexities of a new culture. But how does Tableau executive can do this? First is to identify a mentor. So, by finding a local mentor, it actually provides an invaluable insights. Like, for example, in Singapore, mentors often guide a new leaders on balancing Western and Asian work ethics. And second is to initiate virtual conversation. Like, for example, an executive working in Singapore might arrange a virtual meeting with a local colleague to understand how meetings are structured and what communication style is preferred. And our third point is to schedule regular check-in. What it means by this is that ongoing discussion with mentors actually helps address evolving challenges. Like, for example, in Japan, where indirect communication is common, a mentor can guide executive on interpreting the feedback that actually been given. And for our fourth point, seek feedback and expand network. So like in Malaysia, the business culture values relationship. By actively seeking feedback and connecting with other executives, it actually demonstrates their commitment to understanding and adapting to the local environment. So this approach actually aligns with the trust and openness and team orientation dimension of a culture. A strong support network actually helps executives build confidence and foster collaboration. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Masturina Inzati binti Kamurzamil. So let's discuss some of the challenges Tableau will face as it hires 1,000 new employees in 1 year. These are the challenges that they will face, which are the large volume of new hires that may increase and overlooking qualified candidates. They need to ensure to maintain hiring standard that's a vital part of making the company more successful. These large new employees are such a massive undertaking to maintain qualities new hires that they need to significantly expand its requirement team to handle the increased overload. Other than that, Tableau also needs to maintain culture, which is integrating new hires into the existing company culture is crucial for retaining top talent and fostering a positive work environment. So they need to focus on quality over quantity, targeting specific skills and ensuring culture fit. Move on to the next slide. Other challenges are scalable training. As we all know, companies should send their employees to training programs to help employees improve their skills and knowledge, which leads to better performance as well as boost their morale as the company appreciate them being part of a supportive work environment. However, the challenges is that Tableau's training program needs to be designed for a large number of employees. This may involve online learning platforms, blended learning approaches, and dedicated training teams. There is a lot of cons, but I'm highlighting this one, which that holding massive training leads to high costs because it involves hiring external trainers, or some of them need to send employees off-site. So they need to leverage technology to streamline onboarding processes and deliver scalable training programs. Tableau may be lacking in space. That may be a challenge to that company because of the large volume. Office space may be lacking, so they need to find or expand office space to accommodate their increased workforce, which will be a significant challenge. This may involve relocating, expanding existing facilities, or implementing flexible work arrangements. Besides, Tableau needs to ensure its IT infrastructure, including hardware, software, and networks, can support the increased demand from 1,000 new employees. Last but not least, they may lack administrative support in some departments like HR, payroll, and IT, and will need to scale up to handle the increased administrative burden. Hiring 1,000 employees significantly increase payroll and benefit expense. That means Tableau needs extra staff to keep things running smoothly. So, you can see it's a big challenge. But by organized, thoughtful, and creative, Tableau can successfully hire 1,000 new employees and make their company even bigger and better. That's all from me. Thank you.
That's all from us from Tutorial 1 Group 4. Thank you so much for your attention and patience.